Haiti, a name that today often brings to mind images of hardship and headlines of crisis. But to see only this is to miss a story of incredible resilience, a revolutionary spirit that shook the world, and a culture vibrant and defiant against all odds. Today, we're going beyond the headlines to explore the profound and often overlooked history of the Haitian people. Our story begins long before European sails first appeared on the horizon. The island, which the native Taino people called Haiti, meaning land of high mountains, was a thriving home to several kingdoms. The Taino were skilled farmers, artists, and navigators, living in a complex society that had flourished for centuries. But in 1492, everything changed. The arrival of Christopher Columbus marked the beginning of the end for the Taino. Spanish colonization brought disease and brutal exploitation, decimating the indigenous population within a few decades. The Spanish established their colony, Hispaniola, but their focus soon shifted to the richer lands of mainland America, leaving the western part of the island largely neglected. This neglect opened the door for French pirates and buccaneers to establish a foothold in the 17th century. Eventually, Spain formally ceded the western third of the island to France in 1697, and the colony of Saint-Domingue was born. What followed was the creation of one of the most brutally efficient wealth-generating machines in history. Saint-Domingue became known as the Pearl of the Antilles, the richest colony in the French Empire, and perhaps the world. Its immense wealth was built on the mass production of sugar and coffee, commodities that were becoming essential to European life. But this luxury came at an unimaginable human cost. The entire colonial enterprise rested on the backs of hundreds of thousands of enslaved Africans, slaves who were kidnapped from their homes and forced into chattel slavery under the most horrific conditions imaginable. The system was designed to extract the maximum amount of labor through terror and violence. Life expectancy for an enslaved person on a sugar plantation was terrifyingly short. Yet, even in this darkest of pits, the seeds of resistance were being sown. The enslaved people of Saint-Domingue never passively accepted their fate. They resisted in countless ways, from small acts of sabotage to escaping into the mountains to form maroon communities, free enclaves that kept the dream of liberty alive. This simmering resistance finally boiled over on a stormy night in August 1791. At a secret Vodou ceremony at Bois Caiman, a priest named Dutty Boukman led a ritual that became the spark for a revolution. What started as a coordinated uprising of enslaved people across the northern plains of Saint-Domingue soon engulfed the entire colony. This was not just a revolt, it was the Haitian Revolution, an event of world historical significance. For the next 13 years, the people of Saint-Domingue fought a relentless war for their freedom. They fought against the French colonists. They fought against Spanish and British armies who tried to take advantage of the chaos, and they even fought against an army sent by Napoleon Bonaparte himself, who was determined to reinstate slavery. Leading this extraordinary struggle was a brilliant military and political strategist, Toussaint Louverture. A formerly enslaved man, Louverture rose to command the rebel armies, outmaneuvering the greatest European powers of his day and laying the groundwork for an independent nation. Though Louverture was tricked and captured by the French, dying in a prison in the mountains of France, his vision was carried on by his lieutenant, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. On January 1st, 1804, Dessalines declared independence, tearing the white from the French tricolour to create the Haitian flag and restoring the island its original Taino name, Haiti. This was a moment that sent shockwaves across the globe. Haiti became the first independent nation in Latin America and the Caribbean, the world's first free black republic, and the only nation in history born from a successful slave revolt. It was a beacon of hope for enslaved people everywhere and a terrifying omen for slave-holding nations like the United States. However, freedom came at a devastating price. The world's powers, terrified by the example Haiti set, isolated the new nation. In 1825, France, with warships looming off the coast, forced Haiti to agree to pay an enormous indemnity of 150 million francs to compensate the former French slaveholders for their lost property, their human property. This crippling debt, which took Haiti over a century to pay off, strangled its economy from birth, diverting funds that were desperately needed for education, infrastructure and development. It was an act of international extortion that would have consequences for generations. The 19th and early 20th centuries were a period of intense political turmoil for Haiti. The country struggled with internal power struggles, regional divisions, and a succession of short-lived presidencies. This instability made it vulnerable to foreign interference. Citing financial instability and political chaos, the United States occupied Haiti from 1915 to 1934. The U.S. Marines rewrote Haiti's constitution, controlled its finances, and imposed a system of forced labor that was bitterly reminiscent of the past, fueling a powerful nationalist resistance. The decades following the American occupation saw continued political instability, culminating in one of the darkest chapters in Haiti's history. In 1957, François Duvalier, known as Papa Doc, came to power. He established a brutal and totalitarian dictatorship enforced by his terrifying private militia, the Tonton Macoutes. His regime was characterized by extreme repression, corruption, and the systematic use of terror to eliminate any opposition. When he died in 1971, power was passed to his son, Jean-Claude Baby Doc Duvalier, who continued the family's kleptocratic rule. For nearly 30 years, the Duvalier dynasty plundered the nation's wealth while its people suffered in deepening poverty. A popular uprising finally forced Baby Doc to flee the country in 1986, bringing a wave of hope for a democratic future. In 1990, Haiti held its first truly free and fair presidential election, electing a former priest and champion of the poor, Jean-Bertrand Aristide. But the path to a stable democracy proved to be incredibly difficult. Vested interests, a powerful elite, and military factions resisted change. Aristide was overthrown in a military coup just months after taking office, leading to another period of violence and international sanctions before he was eventually restored to power with U.S. intervention. The political crises have continued into the 21st century, but they have been compounded by a new and relentless enemy: natural disasters. Sitting on a major fault line in the heart of the hurricane belt, Haiti is exceptionally vulnerable. The most catastrophic of these was the devastating earthquake of 2010. The 7.0 magnitude quake struck near the capital, Port-au-Prince, causing an almost unimaginable level of destruction and loss of life. Hundreds of thousands of people perished, and the country's infrastructure was left in ruins. The world responded with an outpouring of aid, but the recovery has been slow and fraught with challenges, plagued by logistical hurdles and concerns over how the aid was managed. Today, Haiti finds itself in a state of profound crisis. Political instability has morphed into a near-total breakdown of state authority, with armed gangs controlling large parts of the capital and essential services collapsing. This complex situation is the culmination of centuries of foreign intervention, crippling debt, environmental vulnerability, and internal political failure. Yet, even now, to define Haiti solely by its struggles is to do its people a great disservice. This is a nation that gave the world a revolution, that defied empires, and that created a rich and unique culture, a fusion of African, Taino, and European influences that is visible in its art, its music, its faith, and its powerful spirit. The story of Haiti is not just a story of suffering, it is a story of survival, of courage, and of an unyielding fight for dignity. It is a history that matters, not just for Haitians, but for anyone who believes in the universal right to freedom. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through Haiti's incredible history. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that have shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.